You might think that rockets just go straight up because that's the part you see most clearly from the Earth's surface. Then it will come back down the path it went up and fire its engines to slow down. But the payload needs to get up to a speed of about 17,500 miles per hour horizontal to the surface in order to get into orbit. That is often done by a second stage, but the first stage booster is still going very fast and is far away, so a significant amount of fuel will still have to be available for it to slow down and return to a site near where it was launched. So in order to launch as much as possible and still recover the first stage booster to be reused, you need a landing site hundreds of miles away. Because most rockets are launched over the ocean, so they won't land in a populated area in the event of an accident, a landing barge is required for bringing the booster back. The booster has some grid fins to steer it and uses the engines to slow it enough to land without needing a parachute. The forelegs are spread out like kickstands to keep it vertical. The slow-moving landing barge, which SpaceX calls a drone ship, and tugs take days to get to the landing site and back, but go to a specific site like a football receiver running a pattern to be in the right place to catch the ball. The distance is far enough that sometimes the launch will be postponed even with good weather at the launch site because the conditions are not good at the landing site. Speaking of football, at 90 meters long and 50 meters wide, the drone ship is about the size of a football field, which sounds like a big target unless you're hundreds of miles away. The booster is almost 50 meters tall, so the combined dimensions, other than the greater width, is like the sailing ship USS Constitution. We'll draw the two of them together here. A drone ship, like just read the instructions or a shortfall of gravitas, needs a crew of 0, whereas the Constitution had a crew of about 450 in wartime in order to fire all of these cannons. So the drone ship has no people so that they're protected in case there is an accident, because a booster crashing with fuel in it would probably be more dangerous than a couple of barrels of black powder blowing up. SpaceX also has other ships that collect the fairings for the payloads which land somewhere else in the ocean without remote guidance, and there's usually a tug or two to help propel it back to port. You might not realize how big a cruise ship is until you see a floating football field passing by it looking like a fishing boat. You might wonder how the booster avoids falling over. Well, there's a robot that is called the Octo Grabber, which slides underneath it while it's still at sea and clamps it down at 8 spots, therefore the Octo, which is similar to how it is clamped down at the launch pad, and it can be held to the ground even with over 1 million pounds of thrust coming out of the engines until it is ready to go. Once the drone ship is docked, they inspect the booster and lift it ashore with a crane. After that, the booster can be moved around by different ways, such as one of these funny looking transporters or even just a regular road truck. Wow, it's still not here yet. Can we hurry this up a little bit? Yeah, that's more like it.